Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for coming along. I really appreciate you guys being here with me for this. Today we're going to talk about the Disney Fort Wilderness Campground. I spent a little bit of time there over the weekend and had a good time with the family. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to let you know I'm not going to show you my family. You don't need to see them. If you don't know me, you don't get to know them until we know each other a little better. So I know you're thinking about going on such a trip, and I think I can help you prepare for it. So you guys hang in tight. We're going to get to that in just a couple minutes. So yeah, if you guys are thinking about going to the Disney Fort Wilderness Campground for a weekend, I suggest you do it, but there's some things you're going to need to prepare. Now this video is for people who haven't done this in the past, who are just going for the first time, and I want to give you some ideas of what to expect, okay? So the first thing you need to do is decide whether you are going to be using one of their cottages, or if you're going to bring a camper, pop up or a tow behind or some sort of a camper, or if you're going to do it with tents. Now when I go, I virtually always do it with tents, but I'm usually there with my entire family, including my parents, who bring campers, and they glamp. They bring everything you could possibly need in that camper. And my dad's kind of he's a little country. He kind of fixes things up, in special ways, and you're gonna see some of that reflected in a little of this video. But that's not here nor there. We're gonna talk about what you're gonna need in case you decide to make this trip and go deal with Disney. So if you're going tent camping at Disney, there's some things you're gonna want to need and some things you're gonna want to know. First of all, you're gonna want to bring tents, and you're gonna want to bring tents that are waterproof, because here in Florida it rains. It rains in weird times of the year, even when it's not supposed to. So always bring enough rain gear to make it. Make sure your tent has a fly. A lot of people from the north and the Midwest, they go camping this time of year, or even in the summer, and they can take the fly off and sleep, almost cowboy style, where you're looking at the stars. There's two things you're going to deal with in Florida, no matter what. Number one, if it's not raining, the humidity is so high that you're going to wake up drenched anyway. So whether it's rained or not, there's so much dew falling every morning that you're going to be soaked. So you must have a rain fly. Number two, you need a tent with webbing. Don't think you're going to come to Florida without any kind of webbing, no matter what time of year it is, because the mosquitoes here will pick you up and take you out into the woods, and they will have their way with you. They're violent here. So I don't care where you are or what time of year it is, be prepared for mosquitoes. Now, I will say that in Florida, during the winters, and our winter basically starts in December, mosquitoes are moderate to fair, okay? They're not horrible like they are in the summer. Once we get into rainy season, the mosquitoes here are you can't see through them. They're a cloud. It's like a dust storm coming through, and it's incredible. But this time of year, you could sit around and not get bit by a mosquito for hours. If you have type O negative blood, you're going to get bit more than anybody else. I don't know why, but that's been my experience with everybody I've met who has type O negative blood. The mosquitoes like you more. So when you come to Florida, be prepared for mosquitoes and be prepared for moisture, dampness, rain. Be prepared for your tent to be wet inside. So another thing I like to bring are tent heaters. Another problem you have in Florida, like today, it is December 17th. December 17th. It is 7:45 in the morning and it's 82 degrees. And I'm in north central Florida. I live almost just a little bit north of where Disney is, and an hour west. Okay, so I'm kind of out in the green swamp area where Disney and we're getting similar weather. And today again, I'm in t-shirt, not even 8 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, I have a little sinus thing going on in my voice. It's because I spent the weekend tenting, and that always happens to me. Um, so the thing is, yes, it's 80 degrees. It feels great. It's warm, and everything's happy. Tomorrow night, it's supposed to drop to 40. So what you get here is you get days that are ridiculously hot and nights that are painfully cold in comparison. 40 doesn't feel cold when it's been 50, but 40 feels horrible when it's been 90. Okay, and that's what you're going to run into. And I've seen a lot of people go to these parks. They get up in the morning, well, morning-ish, and they get up and they go to the park around 10 a.m. and it's 75 degrees, and they're like, oh, I don't need a sweater. Okay, great. You go to the park, as soon as the sun goes down, all hell breaks loose, temperature drops down, and you go from having been out in the sun and getting roasted all day to a cool breeze at night. Even though it's only getting into the 50s and 60s, it still feels colder because it was so hot all day. So, you may be wet from sweat or from some of the water rides or whatever you've done, and that wind will come through, and it's time to get on that tram or on that boat or back in the car or wherever you're going. That travel time there, you're going to get a lot of breeze, and it's going to get cold. It's not going to be comfortable, so don't do that. Don't make that mistake. Always bring a sweater with you, or a sweatshirt, or a hoodie, or whatever you can into Disney. Be prepared for the weather swing that Florida's known for. When you go to the Disney campgrounds, their bathrooms are just like everybody else's, possibly a little cleaner, I think, than a lot of the campsite bathrooms that I've been to, but they are actually similar. You have you have showers that are boiling hot under any circumstance. I mean, as busy as this place is, and this time of year, Disney's busy, you're going to get the hottest shower you've ever had in your life, whether you want it or not. I mean, it's actually kind of difficult to control the cold. In most showers, when you get in there, the more people that are taking it, the less hot water you have. In the case of the Disney showers, from my experience, the more people that are in the shower, the less cold water you have. So it actually gets hotter when the guy next to you gets in his shower, or the women, or whatever happens. The temperature seems to go up as people get into these showers. So it gets really hot. Be prepared for a hot shower. I mean, it feels great, don't get me wrong, but you don't want to, just understand that it's not going to get cold on you. You're going to be fine. So beyond the bathrooms, a couple other things you need to bring. Make sure you need power cords. You're going to want splitters and power cords, things for charging your phones and all this. Look, this isn't rustic camping. I mean, you can do it. They have a place for that. But that's not what Disney's there for. Disney camping is for people who want to go enjoy the parks but still have that camping atmosphere. So you go there and you want to bring things that you wouldn't normally bring out into the woods if you're camping. I mean, this is a family camping trip. So bring your power cords, bring your chargers, bring a fan, in case it's hot during the day and you don't have a camper. Bring tent heaters. My tent heaters, these little tent heaters that I use will dry out your clothes. Even if you're not using it to warm your tent, they work great for drying your clothes. So if if you've gotten wet during the day on a ride, or if it's just sprinkled, or if you've just woken up and all your chairs or whatever you've brought are soaked from the dew, then definitely have this tent heater. Just flip the chair over top of it, turn it on, in 10 minutes it's dry. So that's what I do, and I think it works great for me. So I bring tent heaters, I bring power cords, I bring all these things with me. Lots of lights. Bring string lights. Bring whatever kind of lights you can to light up the whole campsite. It's really nice to have that. In fact, if you come during Christmas, I'm going to roll in some video just a second here, and that's probably all you're going to see for the rest of the day is video from, the Christmas at Disney's campground. But just so you know, you also want to bring bathing suits. They have a really magnificent pool that has a really cool slide on it. It's really awesome. All the kids love it. The kids who go to the Disney campground don't need to leave Disney campground. I mean, you can. You are free once you're there. You're free to go around and hop on all the different boats and monorails and buses. You can go from the campground to any other park in Disney's, world that you can just, whatever you want to do, you can do, and it's free to go to all these places. So you can go over to the Contemporary and have an amazing breakfast, and then hop on the monorail and go over to, the Magic Kingdom, or you can work your way over to Epcot, or you could they have boats. In fact, they have these little tiny boats that you can rent and scoot around in the water in front of the Magic Kingdom and play all day, and it's a lot of fun. So there's a lot of things you can do at Disney that don't involve going into the parks. So you don't even have to have a pass. You can just go have fun and enjoy yourself and be the best camping trip ever, but you won't be going to the parks. Okay, that's fine. However you want to do it. But those are options. So don't feel like if you've got the camping for 3 or 4 days, you need to have a 3 or 4 day pass. Trust me, you can go camping at Disney and you can do a 1 day pass and enjoy your day at one of the parks and then recover the next day, because let me tell you, bringing kids to Disney involves recovery. It's amazing. So you can do so many things. They have a nighttime outdoor movie theater where Chip and Dale characters come out, and you can have hot chocolate and s'mores, and they set up these fires, and it's they come out and they play music with their guitar and they entertain the kids, and then they play this movie, and you're sitting on logs out in front of a movie screen out by a fire, and it's really cool. I mean, the kids always love that part, right? Or you can go down they have a little beach on the lagoon that overlooks where the Magic Kingdom is, and you can actually watch the fireworks from the Magic Kingdom at the campground. So it's really neat that you can sit there and enjoy the fireworks without having paid to get in. Now, it's not the same kind of presentation, because in the park the fireworks are 3D. I mean, they wrap around you, there's music going on, there's a lot more going on, but they still look good from over there on the beach, and it's really nice to sit on the beach and have a drink, which, by the way, you can drink alcohol at the Disney campground. You can bring your own, or you can buy it. They actually sell all kinds they have a bar on the campground. They do. So you can actually do that. They have an all-you-can-eat restaurant. It's expensive. And that goes into the next thing you need to bring. Food. You want to bring food. If you do not have a cooler of food with you, you're not going to make it through the weekend, because it's expensive and difficult, just in terms of going through lines and dealing with all the people, to get food every time you get hungry. So bring a big cooler with food. Now, they do have ice machines at all the bathrooms, so you can always get ice and refill the ice in your cooler if you need to. It's only $2 a bag. It's not horrible. It's not normal Disney prices, but the food is. The food is definitely Disney prices. You're not buying anything for what you would get it for at home. So go to the grocery store, buy enough food to get you through. Think about your breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day you're going to be there, because you can always go to the park, do your thing, go back to the campground, eat lunch, go back to the park and enjoy the rest of the day, and then come back and eat dinner. That's always a possibility. Although we like to just eat a big breakfast, go over there, do our thing, and then come back at night and eat a big dinner. So that's how we play the game. But yeah, you're going to want food. You're going to want a cooler. You're going to want ways to secure your cooler. It is a campground. Even though Disney does a good job of keeping pests out, I haven't seen as many raccoons there as I have in most other Florida campgrounds. The raccoons are smart enough to know how to open a cooler, by the way. You will run into a certain amount of wildlife that will get into your cooler no matter how you latch it. So make sure it's truly secured. Speaking of wildlife, you're going to run into a lot of wildlife. This weekend I saw deer. We had a doe come up to us. We rode around on our little golf cart. And if you have a golf cart, bring your golf cart. They let you do that there, and they rent them to you if you want them. So we had a little deer, a little doe come up to our golf cart and just check us out. It was beautiful. It was amazing. On the way from our park over to Animal Kingdom, we went past a clearing just out in the woods. There was nothing there, and there was a fairly healthy coyote just standing there watching us pass by. So you do see coyotes in these woods. I've heard of other creatures. There's obviously snakes and spiders and alligators and all that, but they try and keep all that to a very small minimum in the park. They work hard to keep all that down. But they do exist, and you do need to be cautious of them. We are still in the swamps of Florida. So, those are things you can do. Now, the best part of going to Disney, if you're going to go camping there and you can get a reservation for Christmas time, are the Christmas lights. My boy, and this is where we are rolling in some footage, and I have lots of it. When you are cruising through the Disney campgrounds on your golf cart and you see all these campsites that all these people have spent all this money decorating. People decorate their campsites at Disney during Christmas more than they decorate their homes. It's insane, dude. It's truly insane. I've never seen so much money spent. I mean, I know how much it costs to spend a week at Disney, and these people have spent 10 times that just decorating their campsites. It's amazing. It's truly, I mean, you're looking at some of this video and you're looking at how beautiful some of these campsites are and how, now, people have gotten lazier over the last couple of years since the advent of the blow up Christmas decorations, but they're still cool and the kids love it. You can ride around for hours looking at I believe there's 800 and change campsites in there. And you can go through and probably 600 or 700 of those will be decorated. And some of them are so elaborate, you're seeing some of that, it's mind-boggling. There's also some that set them up so that you can get out of your golf cart and walk through. This guy here has a walk-around campsite where you can actually, you follow the path, and they have these decorations all the way around the path, and it's amazing. I cannot believe how much people do. So bring your Christmas decorations, even if it's just a blow up, even if it's just a couple of candy canes or whatever. We didn't have a lot, but we brought what we did, and bring that. So, bring everything you can to make it Christmassy. Bring your camping etiquette. That's what you need to bring. Your camping etiquette. One of the problems I have run into in Disney is that a lot of people who go there to camp are not campers. That is, they're not people who spend a lot of time truly camping. They don't embrace the camping mentality, the camping philosophy. What you get are a bunch of teenage idiots, or maybe 25, 30-year-old who have not grown up yet, immature people who go to a place like this and forget where they are. They think of it as a party. Now, yes, you want to go to Disney and you want to have a good time. But when you go camping in a place that's a public campground that is designed specifically for children, and we ran into this, you don't go there and get loud all night long. Understand that most of the other people there have just spent an entire day chasing kids around Disney. So you don't show up at this campground and spend the whole night partying as loud as you can, playing loud music that everybody in the campground can hear. Dude, we're in tents. You must understand that doesn't block any sound. We can hear everything you do, whether we want to or not. Even with earplugs, I can't hear you. And that's another thing. Bring earplugs. Trust me. Even if you've got your earplugs in and you've got a fan going in your tent and you're trying to drown out the sound, some of these people, some of these completely irrespectful jackasses there are a lot of words I'd rather use, but this is a family-friendly channel. Believe me, I have a gamut of words for them, and I thought about running through them for you. And they were using them. They were singing songs, they were rapping songs about vulgar activities. I mean, they were as vulgar as I've ever heard anyone in my life. And they were like belting it out, like they were proud that they were singing along with this vulgar nonsense. And it was horrible. It was embarrassing. I had children. I had little girls there with me. I have 5 daughters, and I had the 3 youngest there with me. And they were hearing language that, they would never hear in any other place. I mean, I've been to nightclubs where people weren't that vulgar. These people were absolutely vulgar. And I have never hated somebody as much as I hated these people for the behavior that they were portraying out there. The behavior that they were engaging in was just, oh man, I was so angry. So yes, I called security a few times. It took a few times to get them to actually come out. And unfortunately, by the time security made it out there half an hour after the phone call, these people had quieted down enough that it didn't seem like, that it seemed like I was calling in for nothing. And of course, as soon as security left, the people got loud again. Now, fortunately, I will say this, they had left some security people hiding and to watch them, and they did catch them getting loud again at 1 o'clock in the morning after I had been at Disney all day. And to tell you the rest of the story, the night before a massive storm rolled through, so I had gotten about 3 hours sleep anyway. So on 3 hours sleep and an entire day at one of the parks with a bunch of kids, I was done. And these idiots were up making noise up until about 1 o'clock in the morning, and security finally told them, shut up or get out. And they did. They shut up. So yes, they did what they could do. Security did what they could do. But you will possibly run into this. Now I'm going to tell you, I've been to Disney like this every year for at least 2 decades. I'm into 23, 24 years of going to Disney every year for this event. And this is the first time I've had a problem like that. So this isn't the norm, but it could happen. Be prepared. And if you do, do what you can. And another thing you need to understand is, I'm in a wheelchair. And while Disney in and of itself, absent of the crowd, is a wheelchair-friendly place, people are horrible. Most people are just self-consumed and disrespectful, awful people. When you're riding in a wheelchair, people will get in a hurry to go around you. And once they get in front of you, they realize they're going the wrong way and they come to a dead stop. Now, it's easy for a human on feet to come to a dead stop, but one in a wheelchair who is struggling to get up a hill, having to immediately come to a stop and then have to get momentum back up to get up the rest of that hill is miserable. I'm more exhausted and more sore from wheeling myself up and down hills and having to stop for every idiot who stops in front of me and pushes their way in front of me. And if you're trying to get in line to go somewhere, like if you're getting in line for a ride, they'll walk right around you and get in front of you because they can go faster than you can. And it's angering. It really is. People are incredibly disrespectful. You realize when you're in a wheelchair how awful humanity can be. Now, I understand how great humanity can be. I run into a lot of people in other situations that are incredibly yielding to me, and they're helpful, and they do everything they can to help the guy in the wheelchair, and I appreciate that. But the people who treat me like I'm a rock that they need to get around and kick out of the way, that's most people at Disney, because when they're there, everybody's in a fight or flight syndrome. They're all trying to get into a boxing match over getting in line first. They all want something, and it's really, really awful. You leave Disney hating life if you're in a wheelchair. Trust me. And if you're pushing somebody in a wheelchair, you really got to deal with it. At least I was in control of my own destiny. So yes, people can be awful. People are going to be difficult, and crowds will be crowds. So that's something else to think about, if you're going to go into the park. It is season for them. It is the busiest time of year at Disney World. So if you're going to go into Disney World during the Christmas time, expect to get very little accomplished. You might get 2 rides. There were wait times exceeding 2.5 hours for a ride. It took us from the time that we signed up to eat lunch to the time we finally got finished eating lunch, and we didn't eat slowly. It took us 2 hours, which it was an 1.5 hour wait to get lunch and a 30-minute, it took 30 minutes to get through the meal between ordering it and getting it and eating it. So, an 1.5 hours to sit down to eat. It was awful. So, when you figure you have 2 hours into lunch, 2.5 hours into 2 rides, that's your day. By the time you've gone from place to place to place, you have eaten lunch and ridden 2 rides in your whole day. So be prepared. If you're going to go to Disney this time of year, get multi-day passes so that you don't feel like you just spent a lot of money to eat lunch and ride 2 rides. And you spend a lot more money eating lunch than you would anywhere else. So yeah, be sure to be prepared for that. There's a lot more to that. And if you want a video on how to prepare, and if you want a video on how to prepare for that, I've got you. I'll do that for you. Okay, just let me know. So listen, guys, I hope I've given you some ideas of what you should do to prepare. If you want more information, I can give you all the details in the world. Just let me know, because like I said, I've done this every year for 20 plus years. Hey, thanks a lot, guys. You are the best. Make sure you subscribe. Check me out. I'm coming back with more videos now that I'm back and it's wintertime and I'm going to get to do some camping. So I love you. You guys take care.